Yo, it's Elliot with Yo Elliot. You got strength questions and I got your answer. Yo, Elliot. Well, today we got a great question from our buddy Jake, who wants to know how he can continue to strengthen his body and create a little bit more mobility in his hips, even though he has a disability. Check him out.
Jake here. Just wanted to say, hey, how's it going? I've been watching your videos lately, and I have to say, big shout out to you because I find your videos are helpful to everybody, trying to improve their strength, body and mind, and pretty much everything about themselves. I just recently watched your string of motivational videos, and I found those to be, really helpful. They hit pretty close to home, and they really give me some confidence for myself here. A little bit about myself. My name's Jake, 20-year-old, and I have a condition called spastic cerebral palsy. I'm sure you're probably familiar with that. Anyways, I was just making this video to say, thanks for everything that, you put on the YouTube channel. Everything's great. And I wanted to ask you a couple questions. For me, with my spastic cerebral palsy, you have a video that talks about the hip flexors, and that's been a huge concern to myself because according to my doctors and everything, my hip flexors aren't developing correctly, and I was just wondering, if you have any advice or information that you can give me in accordance to my neurosystem, how I can improve my hip flexors, my mobility, and just any advice in general. Over the last year or so, over the last about 18 months, I went from about 250 pounds, and now I'm down to a solid 180. I'm doing really good right now. I dropped all the way down to 165, and I really didn't think that was healthy for my height. I'm about 5'11", almost 6 foot. Anyways, man, just making you this video, and I was really appreciate any feedback that you have for me in regards to working out with this cerebral palsy, and anything I can do or that you know of that I can use to improve my flexibility, my mobility, and my strength. I know you talk a lot about the neurosystem being really important in a lot of these exercises, and it's basically your grid there, your brain, your mind, your neurosystem, and then your body. Everything's connected. Anyways, man, take care, and I look forward to seeing back or hearing back from you, and really appreciate everything you're doing. It's great.
Well, Jake, the very first thing is I want to congratulate you on all that weight loss, buddy. That is incredible. Keep up the good work. Next thing I want to do is offer you a story and then a solution. First story. I went to high school with a kid named Cornell who also had cerebral palsy. Now, the thing with Cornell was that he was also a really good athlete. We played basketball with him. He never made the basketball team, but we always played pickup basketball with him. And everybody wanted Cornell on his team. A number of things about Cornell. His elbow didn't extend. Like, with cerebral palsy, there's a bit of some of the muscles become very spastic. They don't want to let loose. Well, he had that going on with his elbow, and he had it going on with his hip. And Cornell continued. He played basketball. It didn't matter. He dribbled the ball really, really well. And he would use that elbow as a freaking weapon and just jab people in their stomachs and in their ribs. And it would, like, you never wanted to go up and grab a rebound while Cornell was under the hoop, under the rim. And he had an attitude. He had a sick, crazy attitude about basketball. I mean, it's the only thing that he really cared about. Besides the fact that he had a disability and was super popular and girls liked him, he was a really good athlete, but he used this attitude when playing basketball that basically said, I don't care who is playing with me, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going to destroy you. And he literally did. He'd get the ball and he'd have his little limp and he'd dribble all over the place just with that one arm, and he would do like back behind the arm with that, behind the body with that arm, through the leg with that one arm, and he used this one as a weapon. So to say that you don't have the capacity to reach your full potential, which I know you don't think this way, but some people may fall victim to their circumstances, is outrageous. To think that Cornell had the same situation as you and was able to be as successful as he was in his own right, it was an incredible inspiration to me, and I thought of him instantly when I saw your situation. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with cerebral palsy, I did a little bit of research and tried to really condense the idea down, and I created a diagram, and I also want to offer you a few solutions to your situation. So the long and short of the situation is that the efferent message from the brain to the muscle, basically the brain talking to the muscle, is a little damaged. It's off. So it sends a lot of nervous energy into certain muscles in the body and creates spastic muscles. So you'll notice that someone with cerebral palsy may have tight hip flexors like you described, where the hip hikes up on one side and causes a situation when you hobble, or one arm bends up and tightens, or even the face may tighten and shorten on certain portions of it. It's because of that faulty message that the brain is sending to the muscle. Now, I'm not an expert whatsoever. This is basically Wikipedia telling me what this is. So what I decided to do is offer you a few interesting ideas. Now, they may not be absolute 100% solutions to your situation, but they're interesting things to consider that may be helpful to you. Now, I know that you exercise and you probably get some sort of physical therapy, so I'm sure they're either stretching you or providing some sort of massage, and if not, you may be doing it yourself. You may be stretching and maybe getting some type of massage or foam roll, especially for those muscles that are really spastic. And from what I understand in Wikipedia, that's super helpful. Now, what we want to do is compound your efforts. If you're already stretching those hips, if you're already providing some sort of myofascial release, great. What we want to do is put all that on hyperdrive and give your body an opportunity to release a lot of the tension and spasticity in those muscles. So here's an interesting idea for you. We spoke about how the efferent message coming from the brain or the central nervous system out to the muscle is faulty. Another word for that, those efferent neurons, are motor neurons. And anybody who's familiar with the word motor, it sort of means motion. You know, like a motor in a car creates motion in the car. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and this is where I may be able to support you with some ideas and experiments that you'll try at home. The word emotion is a psychophysiological experience, meaning that what's happening in our brain, what we're thinking about, our thoughts, our ideas, express themselves in physical motions or feelings. So, you know, when someone says they feel funny, and that is an actual physical experience. Emotion, there's no emotion without motion, the movement of the body. So, along with the fact that we have the efferent motor neurons, or basically the brain talking to the muscle, we also got a situation where the muscles talk back to the brain, and there's this sort of neurological loop. This is called the afferent neuron, or the afferent path back to the brain. So this is like where if someone pokes you with a pin, the afferent message goes back to the brain and lets you know what the hell's going on. So you can get a situation where emotion is created by messing with the muscles. The brain and the body there's the muscle and the brain, psychosomatic. There's a complete loop between what's happening in your body, in your muscle in particular, and your brain. So why don't we play around with that loop a little bit and use some of what I've been experimenting with a lot and really love, and we'll be talking more about, which are emotive or motility exercises. Now, these are exercises that help break up spasticity, physical tension, rigidness in muscles that are associated with either restriction in movement because we don't move enough, or restriction of the psycho part of that psychophysiological experience that we talked about. Basically because you're thinking certain things. So, for example, someone who's afraid to reach out for love will often have a tendency to have tight, short muscles in the shoulders and really can't move at their shoulders. A person who is depressed, this is the most obvious one, so I use it quite often has short, tight upper abdominal muscles and has a posture that looks something like this. So the brain and the body work together to create emotion, which is thinking and body movement. So here's what we're gonna do. The very first exercise you're gonna use is a charging exercise. This is basically designed to bring energy, bring fresh oxygen to your body, to your muscle, and to get you really excited and vibrant so that you could perform the next few exercises. I've talked about this before, and it's called the bow. Very important exercise, and it's a staple in motility exercises, and several others I'll talk to you about in a moment. So the very first thing you want to do is ball up your fists, put them at your lower back, pinch your shoulders back and pinch your elbows together, bend your knees slightly, open your mouth as wide as you can. Hopefully you can get into this position. Make sure your shoes are off also. And start breathing as deep as you can with your mouth open. You want to breathe all the way down into your pelvic floor. So at first it may feel restricted, the breath may feel restricted at your throat, then it may feel restricted at your lungs, then it may feel restricted in your stomach, but ultimately start working your way down by opening up all the muscles through that exercise by breathing deeper and deeper and deeper until you get into your pelvic basin. So that's a fantastic exercise, and I'll tell you more about it in another video. What you want to do is hold that position and breathe for 1 to 2 minutes. If you feel your body vibrating, it's a good thing. It means that you're doing the exercise right. You may feel really jacked up and vibrant. That's what's supposed to happen. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to lay down on your bed and you're going to perform these hip expressive motility exercises. The first one is the kicking exercise. And basically you lay there, and at your hip you want to extend your leg and start kicking down on the leg. You'll find that you'll be able to move faster, harder, and create much more motility or expressive capacity if you add a word or a phrase to that exercise. The next one I'm going to show you is the mule kick. And this is where you get on all fours, and again you kick out at the hip. A phrase that may be helpful for you would be get away, get away, get away, leave me alone, stop it. Basically shoving someone off of you, shoving someone away from you. Get very aggressive with your expression, and the kick will become more aggressive, creating more motility like I described. And finally, the last exercise that I would have you try is a little bit interesting. It's called the hip bounce, and what you're going to do is you're going to lean backwards on a table, if you can do this, and start bouncing your hips up. This is sort of a sexual exercise, so it's going to bring up some repressed sexual ideas that may be causing tension in your hips, and this is completely normal. What you're going to do with this exercise is you're going to try to reach deep into your pelvic floor or down into your balls with the sound that you make. So you're going to make a deep sound as you do this exercise. You may even feel vibration down into your genitals. So the purpose of these exercises is, number one, to get your body to move in fashions and move in ways and to create lengthen the muscles that isn't already there, but also to put it on steroids, jack it up with a lot of emotion, creating the motility that we're talking about in this video. I hope this is helpful for you, man. I'm really excited about these ideas. If you haven't figured it out, we're talking about it in some of my other YouTube channels. I think it's going to help you. In fact, I think these exercises will help any and everyone become the strongest versions of themselves, and that's why I'm dedicating so much time to these ideas and sharing them with you. Let me know how it works for you, brother. Good luck and God bless. Yo, Elliot.